this is not an ordinary message. This is an urgent prophetic warning for the chosen ones. The Lord is revealing that there are hidden battles, unseen wars, and invisible hands working behind the scenes. Many of you have been experiencing unusual delays, strange dreams, sudden resistance, and unexpected disappointments. These are not coincidences. They are signs of spiritual warfare rising against those marked by destiny. The enemy knows that a major shift, a breakthrough, and a divine release is scheduled for your life, and he seeks to fight you in this very hour. But the Spirit of God says you must not fear, you must not be shaken, and you must not give up. For this battle is not to destroy you, it is to position you for greater glory. Listen carefully, for what I am about to share is a lifeline for the chosen ones who are standing on the edge of their next season. The chosen ones are not exempt from warfare. In fact, their calling attracts war. When God has placed a seal on your life, the enemy studies your patterns, your weaknesses, your delays, and your habits to design traps that appear harmless but are meant to derail your destiny. In this season, many of these traps will come disguised as opportunities, as friendships, as sudden financial doors, or even as moments of relief. But beneath the surface, they are planted to distract you, to drain you, or to subtly disconnect you from the voice of God. The hidden traps are dangerous because they do not come looking like destruction. They come looking like comfort. They come looking like answered prayers. They come looking like something you've been waiting for. This is why discernment is the most powerful weapon of the chosen ones. You cannot afford to move by sight. You must move by the Spirit. The scripture says the enemy can masquerade as an angel of light, meaning he can package his destruction in forms that look like blessings. But when you walk in the Spirit, you will sense the uneasiness. You will discern the difference between what glitters and what is truly God. In these days, the Spirit of God is calling you to heighten awareness. There are conversations that may seem casual, but are actually assignments sent to extract information about your journey. There are people who may appear supportive, but are strategically positioned to slow your pace. There are opportunities that seem lucrative, but are timed to detour you from the divine schedule God has marked for your elevation. If you are careless, you may find yourself entangled in a net that looks invisible until it begins to suffocate your progress. This is why prayer and fasting in this window of time will be critical. It is not just about asking God for blessings. It is about asking God for clarity, for sharp eyes, for a discerning spirit. A trap only works when it is hidden, but the moment it is exposed, it loses its power. The enemy is relying on your exhaustion, on your distraction, on your desire for quick results to catch you unaware. But if you remain in the place of sensitivity, the Spirit of God will reveal the hidden intentions behind what looks appealing. Another form of trap is offense. The enemy will orchestrate situations that provoke you, people who misunderstand you, delays that frustrate you with one intention: to get you to step out of alignment. The chosen ones must understand that offense is a bait. When you take the bait, you disconnect from the flow of divine wisdom, and you begin to fight in the flesh rather than in the spirit. Guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. When offense comes, remember, it is not the person, it is the assignment attached to them. Your obedience to the codes given in dreams has generational impact. There will also be dreams that serve as confirmations of prayers you have prayed. You may have asked God for clarity, for direction, for a sign, and suddenly you dream something that aligns with your petition. That is heaven's response. Do not overcomplicate it. Do not doubt it. When God confirms, he brings peace, even in the mystery of the dream. The chosen ones must learn to keep a journal in this season, writing down every detail, every symbol, every person, because sometimes the interpretation comes later. Sometimes it comes in layers, and what you overlook today might be the missing piece tomorrow. The enemy will try to use fear-based dreams to plant seeds of doubt. But remember, fear is not of God. If you wake up shaken, remind yourself that God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Use your authority as a chosen one to cancel what does not align with God's promises. Dreams are battlegrounds, and the one who understands this will always win. Do not let fear dictate your response. Let faith interpret your vision. In this prophetic season, the chosen ones must treat dreams as divine intelligence. They are heaven's coded messages revealing hidden warfare before it strikes, exposing disguised enemies before they are revealed in the natural, and giving strategies to step into victory. The more you honor your dreams, the clearer the revelations will become, and the more victories you will win before the battle even reaches the physical realm. One of the most subtle yet dangerous battlefields for the chosen ones is the arena of associations and connections. Destiny is never birthed in isolation. Every breakthrough, every delay, and every downfall is often connected to the people you allow into your space. In this prophetic season of August 1721, the Spirit of God is warning that the enemy will use relationships as channels of influence, as doors of distraction, and as carefully crafted assignments to disconnect you from your divine alignment. The chosen ones must understand that not everyone who enters their lives is sent by God. Some are divine helpers, but others are monitoring spirits sent to extract, delay, or contaminate what God has placed within you. The enemy knows that if he cannot defeat you directly, he will attempt to plant people around you who look harmless, who speak your language, who seem supportive, but whose presence is strategically designed to weaken your fire. Some may come disguised as friends, but they are secretly competing. Some may appear as encouragers, but they are secretly reporting your progress. Some may even enter your life with gifts and opportunities, but their aim is to bind you with dependency. This is why discernment is not optional for the chosen ones. It is a weapon. You cannot afford to assume that every smile is genuine, every hand extended is clean, or every open door is divine. In this hour, God is calling you to audit your circle. Examine the voices that speak into your life. Ask yourself, do they pull me closer to God? Or do they subtly draw me away? Do they ignite my faith? Or do they feed my doubts? Do they encourage my discipline? Or do they distract me into compromise? Many chosen ones are delayed not because of external attacks, but because of internal connection. The wrong association can delay a divine appointment, drain your spiritual energy, and even cause you to miss divine instructions. Remember, Samson did not fall because of his enemies on the battlefield, but because of who he allowed into his intimacy. Associations can either accelerate or assassinate destiny. There will also be strategic connections in this season that are from God, but they will not look appealing at first. Some divine helpers may come in unexpected forms, without the outward glamour or the recognition you expect. But within them is a key that unlocks your next season. The chosen ones must not judge by appearance, but by the Spirit. When God sends a connection, it comes with peace, with clarity, and with fruit that aligns with his word. When the enemy sends a connection, it often comes with rush, confusion, and eventual heaviness. This is why it is vital to pause before embracing every new bond, to test the spirit, to seek God's confirmation, and to never make covenant connections based solely on appearance. The Spirit of God is also saying that some separations in this season will be divine. People you thought would walk with you may suddenly distance themselves. Relationships you thought were stable may collapse. Partnerships you relied on may unexpectedly end. Do not panic. Do not chase after what God is removing, for He sees what you cannot see. Some connections are seasonal, and when their time is over, holding on to them becomes a burden. When God prunes your circle, it is never to leave you empty. It is to protect you and make room for what is truly divine. Trust the pruning, for what God removes, He replaces with better. The chosen ones must also guard against the trap of isolation. While wrong connections are dangerous, complete disconnection from divine community is equally dangerous. The enemy loves to isolate chosen ones, to make them believe they can fight alone, to separate them from accountability so that he can attack them in weakness. Do not confuse isolation with consecration. Consecration separates you to God, but isolation separates you from God-ordained people. Ask the Spirit to reveal the difference so that you remain protected by divine covering, even as you cut off toxic ties. In this prophetic season, pay close attention to who celebrates your victories, who prays for you in silence, who remains consistent when storms arise, for those are often the true ones sent by God. And equally, notice who grows silent when you win, who suddenly grows distant when your light shines, who suddenly sows seeds of doubt in your spirit, for those are often planted as agents of delay. Your destiny is too weighty to entertain counterfeit connection. Your discernment must be sharp, your boundaries must be strong, and your loyalty must be aligned with God alone. Acceleration is not a matter of human effort. It is a matter of divine timing, and that timing is unlocked through obedience. The chosen ones must understand that in the realm of the Spirit, obedience is not just compliance, it is currency. Every act of obedience becomes a seed that produces speed in destiny. Many have been praying for breakthrough, for sudden shifts, for doors to open. But heaven is saying the key is not always in more prayer. Sometimes it is in simple obedience. God does not accelerate the disobedient. He accelerates those who trust Him enough to follow His instructions, even when they do not fully understand them. This is why in this season of August 1721, divine acceleration will be released, but it will only rest on those who are positioned in obedience. Obedience is often tested in the small things. It may not look like something spectacular. It may be as simple as cutting off a toxic connection, waking up to pray at a specific hour, sowing a seed when you feel financially strained, or taking a step in faith that does not make logical sense. Many chosen ones miss acceleration because they ignore what looks insignificant, not realizing that hidden within that instruction is the very key to the speed they have been crying for. When Naaman was instructed to dip 7 times in the Jordan, it did not make sense. But obedience unlocked his healing. In the same way, when God asks you to take a small step, it is often the key to a massive release. Disobedience, on the other hand, creates delay. It does not cancel destiny, but it stretches the process unnecessarily. The children of Israel were not meant to wander for 40 years. It was disobedience and unbelief that delayed them. For the chosen ones in this season, the Spirit of God is warning that partial obedience is still disobedience. To obey halfway, to delay your response, or to choose what feels convenient is to forfeit the acceleration that God has prepared. If you want to see divine speed, you must be willing to obey fully, quickly, and without compromise. Heaven does not accelerate those who argue with every instruction. It accelerates those who trust the voice of God above their own logic. There will also be moments in this season where obedience will feel costly. God may ask you to walk away from an opportunity that looks promising, to release something you have held tightly, or to forgive someone who has wounded you deeply. These are not random tests. They are divine alignments. What feels